Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 2CTV with some breaking news coming from the Middle East. There has been a terrorist attack near Bethlehem, which we're going to bring you guys the information about, and of course there's some video clips coming in as well. We're getting the information verified as we speak. Over the last few minutes, an hour or so, we had a shooting incident on a bus, and the whole thing is completely kicking off because the attacker is still on the run, and the manhunt has now started. The IDF are on top of the case, and of course, as I said, we're gonna show you some footages as well. So let's talk about what's exactly happened so far. A shooting occurred targeting a bus near the Al Khadr junction. That's near Bethlehem on Route 60. At the tunnel's checkpoint. This is about almost 5 miles away from Jerusalem, for those who are not familiar with the area. And unfortunately, a number of people have been injured, including a couple of children. A 10-year-old boy is in critical condition and undergoing, of course, the treatment on site. They can't move him. And a 12-year-old boy and a 40-year-old woman have been hospitalized with gunshot wounds as well. 2 additional victims have sustained mild injuries and are receiving medical care. And as we said, the suspect has fled the scene. Let's go to the first video we have from Bethlehem. As we said, we are getting more footage coming in from the scene. As I said, this was at Al Khadr junction on Route 60 near Bethlehem. The terrorists who obviously did this, they don't have the full identification of the person who's fled the scene, and special forces have launched an active manhunt. They are raising concerns now in the area and across also Israel in general of another imminent attack, because of course the man is on the run. He's desperate. He could do anything as his last final act, I guess, because they're going to catch him. Eventually he's gonna face his destiny. Now, we have had issues around the Jerusalem, Bethlehem area in recent times, but again, the problem is that the whole area is now out of control because of the rise of course, extremists, Palestinian extremists who are there. I think we can go to the second video that we have now. Apologies for that video that didn't have audio, but I'm sure obviously that was enough for you guys to see what is happening at the scene. The IDF forces have blocked car movements now near the scene of the attack to capture the terrorists who have fled to the Bethlehem area now. It is not clear yet whether it was one person or whether it is a group. So of course the authorities are doing their search. As we said, they have blocked the road near that area. I believe we have an image of the suspect. It's just coming now, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just quickly get this verified to double check. Thanks to open source intel, yes, we have the footage now. We have the image of the actual terrorist. It has now been verified. Yeah, okay, so I can show this now to you guys on the screen any moment. There we go. So apparently this is the Palestinian suspect, the Islamist terrorist suspect who just, of course, was responsible for this attack on innocent people, including at least 2 children, one 10, another one 12 years old. Now, of course, now that they have they know the identity, at least in terms of the appearance, what it looks like. They can accelerate this manhunt. This civilian bus, of course, it did leave at least 22 bullet holes. Luckily, I can't believe I have to say luckily, only 4 people, about 4 or 6 people have been injured so far. But of course, unfortunately, the numbers might go up. But as we speak right now, it's speaking live. But 22 bullet holes, it could have been much worse. But obviously, we will find out more information about the ambulance service, the Israeli ambulance service in the area, to find out if more have been injured or not. Let's just quickly double check everything else that we have for you guys coming from the area. Yeah, the manhunt continues. They are searching the Bethlehem area now, so we'll double check that for you. Let's quickly get I think we have another. Okay, so we have some more posters. That's just coming in now. Apologies for this. This is the perks of doing a breaking news live stream, I guess. Everything comes at the same time. This is again thanks to open source Intel. This is a little bit weird. So these are the posters. The Palestinians have a new poster inciting more civilian bus attacks. So following what just happened over the last hour, they are now spreading this across social media, which we can actually also show you in a second. These are the posters that we are getting now across social media, obviously showing a civilian bus. It says, if I translate, fire your fire, no mercy, as in show no mercy. That's what we have to deal with across the whole world, by the way. Obviously, the Israelis have to deal with this on a daily basis in terms of the threats coming from right next to them, the neighbors that they have. And in Europe, obviously, we have invited a lot of people in without vetting their backgrounds. There is an ideology that targets innocent civilians. That is the point of this. And it's been going on for centuries. Once an idea is created, it cannot be killed. But of course, the people responsible must answer to serious allegations and questions. So that's happening now. Let's quickly, while we're here, get some reaction from you guys, especially those who are watching this from the Middle East. Imagine being able to make Bethlehem, the famous place on earth, go bankrupt. That's what the Palestinians did. What limitless pathology. I mean, there's a very good argument. It's also, the same could be said about the Gaza Strip. Gaza has a lot of potential as a land, as a territory, with a beach, seaside, everything else. But that's what they did now. They completely ruined the whole place. And of course, by invading Israel, they just completely wrecked it. But it's happened before. Alistair says, it's most terrible that the innocent ones that always suffer. Be patient. The God of Israel will be dealing with this problem very soon. They will find out. Then they never stood a chance against Israel. Yeah, it's usually good advice in life to not really go against the Israelites. Just read the history. It's never a good idea to go against the Israelites. Something will happen to you. Usually a flood or something. But that's right now the IDF have to work on strengthening that part of the region as well, because a lot of people are focusing on what's happening in the south of Lebanon. A lot of people focusing on Gaza. A lot of people actually also focusing on what's going on in Syria, because while the Islamists, the new leaders of Syria, came out on the first couple of days saying we want to take over Jerusalem. Today, the Al-Jilani came out to say we don't actually want a war with Israel. Well, we know why he said that, because he knows if he actually starts a war with Israel, he will be dead within 15 minutes. But while everybody is focusing on Syria, while everyone's focusing on Gaza and Lebanon, let's not forget there is a massive counter-terrorism operation on a daily basis around the West Bank, which is Judea and Samaria. And it is important for the IDF to stay focused on that part as well. Not many people talk about Judea and Samaria in terms of what's going on with the actual Palestinian extremists and terrorists on a regular basis. Let's see what else we have in the live chat. Roxanne says, Islamist terrorists must be stopped. The Most High God will prevail on behalf of Israel. Jacqueline says, how can they say Islam is a religion? Sounds more like a terrorist group. It's not. It's a political ideology. Selling itself as a religion, as an Abrahamic religion, but but also by just plagiarizing from Abrahamic religions, and not correctly either. For those who are familiar with the Islamic text, they stole most of it from previous books, not the right way. They didn't understand it. For example, they actually stole a couple of things from Talmud. Why would you steal things from Talmud? Makes no sense. And of course, then they decided to plagiarize it and completely retranslate the whole thing, and then sold it as a religion. But nobody wanted to convert, so they decided to conquer the countries to force them to convert. That's a good point. And then they wonder why there are checkpoints in Judea and Samaria. I know. Why is it that you have a lot of people showing outrage on a regular basis that the Israelis have to have checkpoints, have to make sure there are soldiers and special forces and police officers regularly walking around the area? Because this happens at this point, it's at least every few weeks. Also, the imminent attacks, potential attacks could be daily, but the IDF stopped them. That's the point. Super chat from DJ Ezzy Derbyshire. Thank you very much for that. Babylon says, yeah, it's a death cult and must be outlawed. I think it's not going to happen, but that is one of the sad realities of the situation right now in the modern world that we live in. I'm trying to get some more information about the injured people, especially the kids. We do have the English version of this, by the way, now, which I can show you. It obviously says fire, no mercy. There we go. Oh, that's the one. There we go. Found it. There we go. Fire, no mercy. This is the poster that's now being shared on social media by the Palestinian side. You can see what it is in the picture. Civilian buses being targeted. They are promoting it. They are advertising more terrorism. The people who claim that they only have a problem with the Israeli government want to target more civilian buses. What a sad world. Right. What else do we have? They want to blank the Jews, blank the Christians, atheists, those of the rainbows. Then when there is no one left, yeah, they'll go after each other. The thing is with the Islamic side, they can multitask. So while they go after Christians and Jews and atheists and gays and everybody else, they can also at the same time attack each other. You see what's going on in Syria over the last week or so. It's complete mayhem. They're not just going after the Kurds and Christians. They're also, the Shias and Sunnis are still killing each other. It's just crazy stuff. Eldest says a difference between the enemy in Gaza, the enemy in Bethlehem. Terrorism is the same terrorism. The solution must be the same. That is a very good point to be made, because there hasn't really been much focus, apart from obviously on a daily basis. As I said, the Israelis, in terms of the IDF and police officers, they are always in the Judea and Samaria, just making sure everything's fine. There are checkpoints, but there hasn't been a proactive counter-terrorism operation, because there is a bit of a complicated relationship between Mahmoud Abbas and the State of Israel as part of the so-called West Bank Authority. But there will come a time eventually when the Gaza operation is completely finished, and of course Lebanon, and you have to deal with the Iranian regime anyway eventually, because it's self-defense. Israel must defend itself. They have to have a conversation about what's going on in Judea and Samaria, in the West Bank, because terrorists continue to come from there on a regular basis. Everyone keeps thinking the main threat was from Gaza. Yeah, but the thing with Gaza was that they were more out in the open because they had a proper leadership with Yahya Sinwar and Ismail Haniyeh and everybody else. When you look at the Bethlehem area, the Jerusalem-Bethlehem area, when you go towards the Palestinian territory, they are living and hiding among civilians. So you have to have a proper counterterrorism operation against that. So far, there hasn't been obviously enough resources and time. There's so much that the IDF could do at the same time. Victor Red says, what is the number of people who have been victims of these crimes this year? Well, this year, that is a very, I don't know, many. I wonder if we could find one second. Trying to find out if we could get some sort of number in 2024 so far. They are saying over 5,431 Israelis have been injured, targeted, and obviously 1,706 killed. This is 2024. Obviously, it's October the 7th, and everything else since then as well. I think this is just a rough estimate because I think this is some of the data. Obviously, 5th of December was the updated number, so it's about a few days ago. So that's, I mean, it's probably more in terms of the overall number of people who have been targeted. Right. Robert says, sorry, mate, you are great at what you do, but it's affecting my mental health. So I'm going to have to unsubscribe from your channel. I'm sorry to hear that, Robert. Obviously, put your mental health first. Obviously, this is a news channel. So it's unfortunately, it does come with negative and positive news. It is important for people to be aware of what's happening around the world. And obviously, don't put your mental health at risk. But, there's a lot of dark stuff that happens all around us on a regular basis. That's the world we're living. And I think it is important for people to know what's happening, even if it's dark, because you must be aware. It's part of human instinct. Survival is part of human instinct, and information is key. So look after yourself, Robert, obviously. Nancy from Canada says, seriously, Nicey Nice doesn't work with these people. No more Nicey Nice Canada. Yeah, I mean, I could say so much about the Canadian government. They've been too nicey as well. But even Israel have been too nicey. I mean, if it weren't for the October the 7th terrorist attack, there was a lot of complacency coming from Netanyahu's government. Again, you can't really expect the Israelis to start randomly attacking Hamas, but there have been enough justification and excuses over the last few years. There have been so many times that Israel could have started the counterterrorism operation, but obviously they didn't want to do it because there's a lot of bad publicity. So, but after the 7th of October, they were like, well, we're gonna have to now, and I'm glad that they actually decided to put their foot down and say, we don't care about the international community. We will have to defend ourselves. And we're also helping the West. But obviously, there's no thank you coming from the international community. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll keep you guys posted on this and everything else that happens. So far, as we said, the people who have been injured, especially the 2 children, are being treated. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maya Tusi, and we are the media.